Hey, Facebook Live. Hello, everyone. Happy Friday. We've made it through another week. I am so happy it's Friday. It's been a weird week. I had like a lot of like random doctor's appointments and like just like weird stuff dispersed throughout my week that really cut it up into like a weird I couldn't get into a routine basically, which always throws me off. So it's been a long week. I'm glad it's Friday. I'm glad we've all made it to the weekend. I'm pretty pumped. So for this week's week in review, we have a lot to get to. Sorry, there's like crap behind me. I was gonna clean it up. There's like some medicine and like a tape measure, and I was gonna clean it up, but then I was like, no, this is the real me. This is the real Robbie, and I don't live in a like pristine, really clean apartment, and so you're just gonna have to look at my tape measure in the background. Anyways, so for this week's week in review, the first thing I want to talk about, I have five quick things to get to with you today. The first thing I want to talk about is not necessarily news, so I'm kind of cheating, but I just discovered it this week, so I'm really excited about it. In Philadelphia, there is a man running to be a judge who could be the first transgender male judge in the United States. I'm really excited about it. It's a man named Henry Cius, and he's running for Philadelphia's Court of Common Pleas. Right now, there's two openly trans judges, but they're trans women, and there's only two across the whole country. And that includes like different levels of jurisdiction, like federal, state, whatever. We need more trans judges. And so I'm really rooting for Henry. I just discovered his story yesterday or 2 days ago. Again, I know it's not like news to everyone. A few people have heard about it, but I'm really stoked. I'm really pumped for Henry. I'm rooting for him. His election in Philadelphia is on May 21st. So if you live in Philadelphia and you can vote for him, please do. We need him on the bench. And one thing that I really love about his story and his campaign is the fact that he's fully embracing the fact that he's trans and talking about it, like his campaign video, like that's one of the focal points. And not in a way that's saying like, okay, you should vote for me because I'm trans, but in a way that's saying, yes, being transgender has informed my view of the world, and he's not afraid to say that out loud and to make that kind of one of the centerpieces of his campaign. He's quoted as saying, "I'm running for judge because I know what it's like to be marginalized and disenfranchised." So I'm all about it. I think a lot of times LGBTQ people and people from all different walks of life who are marginalized feel like they have to hide those parts of their identities when they do something in the public space, if they run for office or whatever, because they feel as though that others will judge them or that it will somehow hurt them, and they don't want to be seen as like making that a defining aspect of their campaign. But I'm all about it. I think it's great. I think being transgender gives you a fresh perspective on this world, and we need more people in powerful positions who are trans. So yay, that's Henry Cius in Philadelphia. I'm rooting for you, Henry. The second thing I want to talk about today is Jordan Peele's Us. Whew, if you are a horror film, I have not seen the movie. It's a new horror film by Jordan Peele, who of course was the director behind Get Out. If you haven't seen Get Out yet, I don't know what to tell you. You have to see Get Out. It's such a, sorry, I'm getting notifications popping up. Okay, sorry guys, distracted. If you haven't seen Get Out by Jordan Peele, it's super great, super fantastic, bone chilling, because it kind of takes a lot of current themes of, well, not that it's super current, it's always been this way, but racism, white supremacy, white privilege, and kind of distilling it in this really spectacular story that's pretty horrifying. So check out Get Out if you haven't already, and then see Us, which is in theaters now. And it stars Lupita Nyong'o, who I love. She's wonderful. She's getting rave reviews from her performance in the show. It's described by NBC News. This kind of freaks me out. Like, I'm wondering if I can handle this. It was described by NBC News as The Strangers, which terrified me, but with doppelgangers. The Strangers with doppelgangers. So, like, who was in it? Liv Tyler was in The Strangers, and those people, like, the people in the mask came up to her house and were, like, effing with her all night. It was a bone-chilling movie, and so the idea that the new movie is being compared to The Strangers, terrifying. Definitely want to see it. The third thing I would love to touch on today is just a reminder that our president is absolute trash in most ways, but particularly when it comes to LGBTQ people and our rights, he is the worst. He invited the Brazilian president Bolsonaro to the White House this week, who is absolutely despicable. He's been called the Trump of South America, the Trump of Brazil. There's like so many gross, disgusting, disturbing parallels between Brazil's president and Trump. It's very disturbing. He was invited to the White House. The two were like all lovey-dovey BFFs, which was in itself disturbing. But then during a White House press conference, the Brazilian president said, and I quote, "Brazil and the United States stand side by side in their efforts to ensure liberties in respect to traditional family lifestyles, respect to God, our creator, against the gender ideology." So of course there's nothing like, he didn't explicitly talk about the LGBTQ community, but it's like, duh, he's talking about the LGBTQ community. And the fact that Trump stood there and was like nodding along in agreement is really disturbing to me. This is the same president who has had the most jaw-dropping, awful things to say about women, to say about the LGBTQ community. He's racist. Just to give you a snippet of this guy, the Brazil's president, he has said in the past, "I had 4 sons, but then I had a moment of weakness and the 5th was a girl." Yeah, he told a woman in Brazil's Congress, "I'm not going to rape you because you're very ugly." I just can't even wrap my head around that quote. "I'm not going to rape you because you're very ugly." Told a representative in Brazil that. Oh my God. And then, maybe the most disturbing, I don't know, they're all terrible, quote, he said, "I'd rather have my son die in a car accident than have him show up dating some guy." He'd rather have his son die in a car accident than be queer. So this is someone who is horrifying, who is the leader of a world power who our president is all chummy with. So the only news here is just to remind people that our president is despicable when it comes to human rights and the rights of LGBTQ Americans. And it's not about just like identity politics. It's truly millions of people in this country who are being targeted, particularly the trans community. And it's upsetting to know that our president is all lovey-dovey with this guy, and it shouldn't be normalized. Like, it's not normal for American president to like uphold a guy like this and nod along next to him when he's saying this egregious stuff. It's not normal, shouldn't be normal. Yeah, and that's all I have to say about that. The fourth thing I want to talk about really quick is Pete Buttigieg. I don't know if I'm saying his last name right. I have no idea. I've heard him explain probably 500 times how to say his last name. I still don't know if I'm pronouncing it correctly. Buttigieg is what I'm gonna go with. Pete Buttigieg will be the first out gay politician in a Democratic debate, which is super exciting. He hit the 65,000 donor threshold, which was the minimum number of donors the Democratic National Committee was requiring to be in the first Democratic debates in the primary season. Just to be honest, I'm not going to vote for Mayor Pete, as they're calling him. I don't think it's really hard for me to just, I'm very, very excited that he's an openly queer person running for president, and he's getting a lot of attention, and a lot of people are excited about his candidacy, don't get me wrong. But I think it's really hard to justify supporting him when it's such a crowded field with really great, in my opinion, really great candidates and people who really bring a wealth of experience and different backgrounds to the table, particularly women. There's a bunch of like powerhouse women who I'm really excited for in this primary. So as excited as I am to have an openly gay guy in the mix and on the debate stage, I'm not going to vote for him. He's just the mayor of, I shouldn't say just the mayor, but when we're talking about presidential politics, he's just the mayor of South Bend, Indiana, which of course is it's a decent sized city, but really not that large. He doesn't have the wealth of executive and legislative experience that many of the other candidates have. So it's hard to, throw my weight behind him. But I think it's really great that he's going to be on the debate stage. I think it's great to have allies who stand up for us and who are talking about these issues and defending our rights on the national stage. But it's even more powerful when you have actual queer people doing it and you have actual LGBTQ candidates talking about their own experience, talking about the skin they live in and like their own worldviews coming from a queer people or a queer person. So I'm really excited. Go Mayor Pete. I'm rooting for you. I'm not going to vote for you, but I'm excited that you're here and you're queer. Yay. And the fifth thing I want to talk about super quick is Game of Thrones. Okay, so the Game of Thrones the last season of the series premieres in April, and I'm someone who knows nothing about Game of Thrones. I don't know jack squat about the series. I know like Jon Snow is a person who's in it, and I recognize people, but I don't know anything about the plot. I know nothing about the Game of Thrones world. I keep wanting to call it Middle Earth, even though that's Lord of the Rings. So I'm very Game of Thrones ignorant, but at the same time, I have a heavy dose of pop culture FOMO around different things. And every single time a new Game of Thrones season is premiering or there's a finale coming up, I feel like everyone's talking about it, everyone's excited, and I always feel left out. So I'm doing something different this time around that I don't want to give too much away about. But if you're a Game of Thrones fan, you should keep watching Views from the Couch because there's something in the near future that I'm really excited about that is Game of Thrones themed. And let's just say this weekend's going to be very, very Game of Thronesy for me personally. All right, so that's it for me. Those are the 5 things happening in my world. It's really sunny here in Denver. I hope I get to get outside and have some fun this weekend. I hope you guys do as well. You're beautiful, you're wonderful, and I will see you next week. All right, take care, guys. Bye.